He's a little gassy around here.
Really? Okay, excellent. Buenas, this is highly questionable. How do you say that in Spanish, Cuban guy? How do you say it?
Highly questionable.
Sumamente cuestionable. He's not so good at translations in the other language either. Jorge Sedano over here. What do you like on the show?
Oh, Dan, we've got NBA referee talk. Scott Foster's in your future.
What happened, Poppy? Spanish is your
You
language.
know, my gear was a little bit late.
All right, the gear was late. Dale.
He said the bad sign for the Raptors that they could not beat the 76ers when Joel Embiid had digestive difficulties.
Okay, digestive difficulties isn't what it was called on the injury report. He was up to the game time, a game time decision with gastric distress. And now it's all of Toronto that has some of that because Joel Embiid didn't do much of anything offensively yesterday, but they won anyway because he was good in the paint on the defensive end. What do we have here?
Man, if you've had whatever the name is, if you had before,
Joe.
if you've had it before, you would know how it feels. But these are my guys.
I mean, listen, bubble guts will get you every single time, Dan, okay? We've all been there, as Joel Embiid has said. A little Pepto-Bismol sometimes helps, sometimes it doesn't. That team, though, very gassy. I once covered one of their games where Ben Simmons also had a similar injury, strangely enough. But as far as the game is concerned, if you're the Raptors, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Game one is always overreacted to. This is going to be a long series, and everything's going to play out just like that.
What a strange drop of information he just gave you when he says, I've been around the Sixers. They're gaseous as a team. Not anyone else at the network is reporting that. We leave that to Jorge Sedano. One of the things I love, though, is that yesterday I called Jimmy Butler Kawhi Light. He topped me by calling him Diet Kawhi. Then after the game, Brett Brown, the coach of the Sixers, who always looks like he's just been laid off, he said, I call him James Butler because he's an adult, to which Jimmy responded, my name is not James. My name's never been James. I'm Jimmy Butler, legally Jimmy Butler. The impressive thing about what Embiid did yesterday, though, is you know Kawhi Leonard's going to be getting his, but if their second player can't get off against Joel Embiid, who's in the paint and hurting that way, you've got a problem with your second best player.
Joel Embiid, though, did find a way to impact the game, though. 5 of the 7 shots they hit down the stretch from three-point land were on assists from Joel Embiid. So again, the big man didn't play his best game, but found a way to impact the game. The bigger question for Toronto, though, why is Kyle Lowry trying to nutmeg someone in the closing moments of a playoff game? That, to me, is a bigger concern for Toronto.
You know, he should do what I do when that happens to me. I always carry a diaper. I always wear a diaper. Now, do we need to start paying more attention to the jokers? Oh, wait a second. Now, do we need to start paying more attention?
Hold on a second. Okay. It's a little more like now. Do we have...
Now, do we need to start paying more attention to what the Joker is doing?
I hope they leave all of that in there. Now is the way he should have said that. Do we need to start paying more attention to what the Joker does? Last night, he does what he did throughout the season and throughout the first round of the playoffs, which he's going to be a threat to be a triple-double with a unique playing style that isn't that athletic to us, even though a 7-footer doing those things is incredibly athletic for a nowhere team that surprised everyone this year because this guy is that great. There are things happening here in the playoffs where the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Warriors have these teams that have 2, 3, 4 great guys. Then Denver, Milwaukee, and Boston are building around one. This is Denver's one, and he's as good as just about anybody who doesn't play for the Warriors.
He's the best offensive big man in the game. On defense, you know what? There's some issues there certainly at times still, but offensively, he's amazing. As you mentioned, a triple-double threat each and every night. And let's face it, he came off a series against the Spurs where he went for, 23, 12, and 7. And a day later, he puts up this game in a playoff game against the Blazers in round 2. NBA Twitter, us hipsters on NBA Twitter, Dan, unlike you, we've been on Jokic for 3 years now. But you know what? For all of you, get in and get on the Jokic bandwagon. Wow. Now is the time. Because the bandwagon's going to be full here in a minute. And if you don't get on now, it's going to be too late.
Did you get that information in the gassy Sixers locker room, hipster?
No, I didn't. I got it in the gassy Nuggets locker room.
Do you expect the Rockets' effort to manipulate the ref to work?
What a bad break for the Rockets that they get Scott Foster, the lead nemesis referee that they have, who hasn't done a Rockets game since the last time that James Harden publicly criticized the officiating, going with Ed Malloy. And the last thing you want anywhere around your sports is things called an audit. And yet here we are, where the Rockets are auditing the league about bad calls, and now Steve Kerr is making fun of the Rockets.
That was good. Hang on. Jeez. Foul, man. Foul. Who's that foul? Is that on end? That was on end, yeah.
I love that Kerr is able to kind of have fun with this stuff. But look, that's the gamesmanship. But this isn't new. We've seen gamesmanship from coaches throughout the history of the sport. Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Larry Brown. They used to work over refs all the time in those post games, and it would have some impact potentially in the next game. The Rockets are just doing it a little differently, right? They're doing it with an audit. It's on paper. Comes across a little nerdy potentially. That's, kind of the whole analytics movement. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Scott Foster, Dan, I actually think this is going to work in the favor of the Rockets because everyone in the world knows that Scott Foster has had this quote-unquote issue with the Rockets. And actually, he tends to favor the road team because he's not afraid of the hostile crowds. So if you go to NBAstuffer.com, they've got those stats for you. They'll tell you, Scott Foster, according to that site, skews favorable towards the road teams in those situations.
You've got a hipster here citing analytics websites telling us that we're nerds, and you're talking about on the Western Conference matchup we've been waiting for, Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and the officiating. There are a lot of stars in that sport, and on those two teams, I don't need to hear any more about the refereeing.
NBAstuffer.com.
Oh, man.
¿Qué pasó, papi?
I have the Rockets report right here.
Oh.
You want me to read you guys the report?
Yeah, please,
Sure.
please.
Ah!
I almost beat him, too. I almost beat him.
Is the Greek freak right that the Bucks don't need to make adjustments?
Look, I wasn't surprised by anything in these playoffs so far as much as I was surprised by what Boston did to Milwaukee and the way that they did it. But do you expect Antetokounmpo to go 4 for 15 from the paint again, the second worst game of his career? Do you expect that the Bucks are going to go down 0-2 against a Celtics team that has been erratic all year? Do you expect Al Horford to be the secret ingredient that can actually stop a legitimate MVP? Because the chances are, all of the chances are, that this is not going to go back to Boston anything other than 1-1.
Yeah, I would agree. They're going to come back 1-1 because the reality is Mike Budenholzer believes that his team is going to shoot its way out of this. He doesn't believe that over a 7-game sample that his team, who shoots 38, 39, 40% from three, depending on who's on the floor, that they're not going to be able to create space for Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy who literally can get to the rim in 2 steps from the three-point line. So yeah, they believe that that's going to be the case. They're not changing their game plan at all.
Hey, Milwaukee, you got to win this game tonight because I've been talking a lot of about Bill Simmons and I got to back it up. You know
Come
what I
on,
mean?
let's go.
That's a good
Let's go. He has been.
Yeah. Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Glory.
Oh,
Here we go.
multiple guys fighting at the same time.
We already see a team
was
up.
the first time
Now
we've
they
seen
go back to
3 on
1-1.
3. Yes, for the attention deficit disorder among you. If one fight is not enough, how about 3 at exactly the same time? Oh, wow.
And they switch off.
They switch off.
Okay.
Good God, this is a wonderful fight, and I don't even know which one I'm talking about.
My Son's TV show is presented by Hornitos Tequila, a shot worth taking, and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
I switched to Marilax for my constipation. Stimulant laxatives.
Universo Lindo should be ashamed.
Essa Lindell is what he meant to say. The hockey playoffs have been covered very poorly around here. They've been totally bananas. He plays for the Stars. Should he be ashamed?
I mean, he's on ice, though. Like, it's got to be hard, right? I mean, technically, I think he was flopping, but it's pretty easy to lose your balance there, isn't it? Should I give him the benefit of the doubt?
He should play for the Rockets.
That's not a good joke. That's not a good
That's a
joke.
good joke.
Is it?
That is a good joke.
Is it?
Do you question if this was an excusable miss
Okay, we love inexcusable misses around here as we shame soccer players all over the globe. We go out to the second division in Argentina. That's obnoxious to do that way. I'm sorry I did that. Argentina, let's go out there.
Quiroga va por adentro, Penco. Sigue Quiroga, Mirato para Quiroga.
Oh, come on.
Oh!
That was like 3 opportunities right there.
Oh, and the final score of that game is the aforementioned 1-0. Oh.
And that one guy almost got kicked in the head.
That was pretty bad, but I have seen worse. There we go. Look at this guy.
Get the hell out of here with that. Come on.
Thank you for that camera shot of the guy in the foreground.
Do you question if this elevates or diminishes MMA?
We go out to the Philippines. I've been told here that there's a twist. There's a plot twist in this octagon. What happened?
For Golden Glory.
Oh,
Here we go.
multiple guys fighting at the same time.
We already see a team
How was this
up.
the first time
Now
we've
they
seen
go back to
3
1-1.
on 3. Yes, for the attention deficit disorder among you. If one fight is not enough, how about 3 at exactly the same time? Oh, wow.
And they switch off.
They switch off. Okay.
Okay.
Good God, this is a wonderful fight, and I don't even know which one I'm talking about.
But this is like a real fight now if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because in a real fight, you're going to switch off and you're going to fight other people.
Oh, that was such a bad teammate. Wait a minute. They were all hitting the same guy there.
So is it like every man for himself, but it's like they're switching off? Like, I don't. This is amazing television. We should have this on ESPN all day.
The Chinese fighter.
It's on the Cinco.
By the way, that is the 1 minute mark of the first round. We're approaching. That is the 1 minute mark.
What has happened? Is he done? What just happened? I don't know
An
what
excellent question.
Do you see that incredible athlete?
Which one?
All right, there we go. The guy with the red hair.
Okay, there he is.
Yes.
This incredible athlete who has for a stomach a human butt.
Do you question if this hurts or helps the party?
All right, we've got a gender reveal here. Does this hurt or help the potty? So we are going to reveal the gender here, the balloon, the question marks. Oh, how bad does that guy feel? You had it in your hands and you didn't know it was filled with helium.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess the answer is up in the air. That's a hell of a line. Yeah.
Wow, he's pleased with himself.
Do you question if this runner should feel proud or embarrassed?
Bobby, do you know what Big Ben is? Big Ben?
Big Ben? Yeah, I know what Big Ben is, and there's a bend on the road.
Okay, that's not the Big Bend I was talking about. I was talking about Big Ben,
okay,
the
Big
clock.
Oh.
Not the quarterback, the clock. This guy's name is
Oh,
Lucas.
the clock.
There it is, running exactly as Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's leaving the pocket, the same exact way. It's the London Marathon. That has to hurt the body the next day, right? That's a problem you hadn't accounted for.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got to be hot in there. I mean, I know it's London, but he's still got to be hot. Like, that can't be
Unpleasant.
comfortable. Yeah. And crossing the finish line, clearly a problem. There you go. Clock is always right twice a day, dude.
Everybody was running against the clock.
Wow, did that hurt? It sounded like it hurt him. The joke was so bad, it hurt him like in the solar plexus.
I wonder what time he clocking at.
The timing.
Tito's Tequila, a shot worth taking. Time to play the game that they still think the Dragons should have made a bigger impact at the Battle of Winterfell. See? Oh no.
Do you know what Game of Thrones is?
Nah, I have no idea.
I don't think he does. You tell us what's on television tonight. We tell you if we're intrigued.
On Fox Sports Wisconsin, Rockies and Brewers.
Last time I looked, the Brewers had Christian Yelich, and he had more home runs than Lewis Brinson had hits for the Marlins. The guy he was traded for. You want to check in on Christian Yelich, or you want to see something happening in the outfield? The guy with a beer and the ball's coming his way.
Alonso, and a fly ball hit back into left field.
Keep an eye.
Will have
Ryan Braun is back. Oh! Yes, it's not just that you don't catch the ball.
Ryan Braun out there as Alonso wheels all the way to
Take it back.
third.
Man, it was something going on. It was kind of crazy.
You know what? I'm sorry. I just was hypnotized by the M&Ms. I didn't even see anything in that video. Jorge, are you intrigued?
CC, I'm intrigued because any series that involves Christian Yelich, I'm in. As you mentioned, Dan, 14 home runs. Only 4 guys in the history of the sport have done that before May 1st.
I said he was a slap hitter when he was in Miami. That's something that came out of my mouth. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But you know what is the best thing that I enjoy about those Brewer games when they play at home?
What's that?
The sausage round.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I love. You know what I mean?
right.
That's right. Where is that sausage
Oh,
round?
does he think we could just
That's
throw
right.
it to video whenever he wants to? Why, of course we can. Here it is.
Yeah. Go. Every time I pick a sausage, I pick this chorizo to win.
Oh.
All right,
Really?
chorizo.
A Hispanic bias even there. Interesting.
Chorizo, that's my favorite
Interesting.
sausage.
Really interesting.
Stays consistent.
Tomorrow at 5 a.m. in Japan, the SoftBank Hawks against the Golden Eagles.
Yes, of course. I love to get up at 5 a.m. and watch things like this. Let's see a walk-off here, a walk-off homer in Japan.
Was that foul?
There it is.
Could you imagine if Tim Anderson did that during a game? That's what I would love to see him do.
There are pitchers warming up all over American bullpens to throw baseballs across the sea to hit this guy for doing that. Sedano, are you intrigued?
CC, I need more of that in my life, all day, every day.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But tell you what, Brian McCain is on a plane to Japan right now.
Right now.
That's
Right
right.
now.
He's going to
One-way
to
ticket,
complain
baby.
about that. That's right.
That's right. He's going to meet that dude somewhere at the mall and just run up on him and tell him you don't do that.
Fight him in his front yard.
Tonight on ESPN, the Dominican Dream, the Felipe Lopez story.
Sports Illustrated cover, phenom long before LeBron James that didn't quite pan out the same way. Let's see what we have here.
This is the quintessential American story. It's the quintessential New York City story of people coming from other lands in hope for a better life. Felipe symbolized what America was about.
He was LeBron before LeBron. That presence.
Felipe walking into the gym would be like Jay-Z walking into a club. Everybody turned their heads and said, "It's Felipe."
He walked on the court, and even before he did anything, you knew he was gonna just destroy everybody.
He was a rock star. He was a legit rock star in this town that had so many other rock stars. But none of those rocks were shining the way Felipe was.
He was the king of New York.
Dirty and low, I never do what the Pope says. I'm trying to get money like Felipe Lopez.
Anybody who bounces a basketball in New York City should understand the legend of Felipe Lopez. And there'll never be an ex-Felipe.
But he wasn't that good. We're not going to say that here, though. Sedano, are you intrigued?
Spoiler alert, CC, I'm intrigued. Of course, man, Hispanic guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to back those guys, Dan.
No,
What kind of
that's right. I do back him, but he wasn't that good. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? Felipe Lopez, one of my favorite Latinos basketball players, but he wasn't like LeBron, you know? He never faked injuries and he never choked in the finals, you know? That was a big difference. That's
Okay,
right.
It is some of the big differences, yes.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
The creatively named and aforementioned Sedano Show, available on podcast.
Gracias.
Hey, Jorge, I want to show you something cool. You want to see something cool? Sure. Ah, man, look at this. Look at this. Right here. Right here. Come on, Dan. Try it. You like it?